Hey y'all, welcome to Miss Grant talking about order of operations today. We're going to do a quick lesson on order of operations, or Pemdas. I also have this wonderful graphic organizer that we're going to use, and I got this from Teachers Pay Teachers, so I definitely want to give credit where credit's due. First off, we are a fresh page into our notebook, and you should have the green graphic organizer as long as your notebook with you, and the first thing you're going to do is at the top write order of operations. And our objective today, so by the end of the lesson, you should be able to use Pemdas to solve multi-step problems, and we're going to practice that today. So if we're looking at our graphic organizer, we've got Pemdas on the side. We've got Pemdas all over the place here, so let's pick one to start with. What does Pemdas mean? Pemdas is an acronym that we use to show all of the operations and what order to solve them in when given a really large problem. Okay. So the P in Pemdas stands for parentheses. And these are the parentheses. They kind of put things together. They bracket them together. You'll also see them as brackets as well, so you'll see that sometimes. So either look for parentheses or brackets. The E in Pemdas is exponents. And we just learned about exponents the other day. Remember, we have the base and the exponent. Okay, the base multiplies itself however many times the exponent tells it to. Now we have the M and the D. So M is for multiplication, D is for divide, and what's really important about these two is even though multiplication is first, that doesn't mean you do it first. It says multiplication or division because we need to do these from left to right in whatever order you see it in. And we'll practice that in the examples here. So the M is for multiply, and the D is for divide. And the same thing with the A and the S, the addition and subtraction. Just like the multiplication and division, you're going to do this the order that you see it. So you're not always going to do addition first. If you see subtraction first, you're going to do that first. So make sure you do those ones also from left to right. So we have our parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, and subtract. Okay, and that's the order of Pemdas, and you always work from left to right is what we say for all of these, especially for the multiply, divide, and the addition and subtraction. So you always work from left to right. All right, let's go away to the bottom. We have Pemdas, okay? We want to write an acronym to help us remember it, and as well as what each letter means as well. So writing it a couple of times will definitely help us remember it. One of the most common ways that you'll remember is please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, okay? So for Pemdas, for our acronym here, we're going to put please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Now, if you know any other acronyms that stand for Pemdas and you would prefer to use one of those, go ahead, please do. I definitely encourage it. This is just one of the more common ones that you'll recognize. So if we talk about please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, you're thinking Pemdas. Okay? The P in Pemdas, or the please, is for the parentheses. The E is for, and the excuse is for exponents. The M, or my, is for multiply. The D in dear is for divide. The A in aunt is for add. And the S in Sally is for subtract. Not too bad. We now know the order of please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Let's get into the nitty gritty here, okay? We're going to start with the problem on the far left. 3 plus 7 times 6 divided by 3. Ooh, that's a lot, okay? We want to take these problems one step at a time, and we want to bring down and show all of our work. If you don't show your work, then Miss Grant can't help you, and your friends can't help you, and we can't figure out where the mistake was made, so make sure you show all of your work, okay? So, I'm looking at my problem here. Do I see any parentheses or brackets? Nope. Do I see any exponents? Nope. All right, cool. So now I'm looking at a combination of multiplication and division here. Do I see any multiplication or division? I do. And remember, you do it from left to right. So when I look from the left to the right, the first thing I see is multiplication, and I see that 7 times 6. So I'm going to work with that first, that's 7 times 6. So 7 times 6 is going to be 42, and I bring everything down. 3 plus 42. Divide by 3. I'm continuing to look at my problem. Do I see any more multiplication and division looking from left to right? I do. I see 42 divided by 3. So now we're going to do that one first, for second. We're going to bring the 3 plus down, and 42 divided by 3 is 14. All right, I don't see any more multiplication or division. Now I drop down to the addition or subtraction. Do I see any addition or subtraction? Absolutely I do. I see 3 plus 14. And that's going to be 17. So our answer is 17. That's not too bad. All right, the second one, we have 6 times 4 divided by 3 minus 6 plus 2. If we go through our Pemdas, do we see any parentheses? We do. We see the 6 times 4. So that's the first one you want to do, is that 6 times 4. And that's going to be 24. Bring everything else down. Do I see any more parentheses? No. Do I see any exponents? Not this time. Do I see any multiplication or division looking from left to right? If I look from the left and I keep going, yes, I see some division here. I see that 24 divided by 3. So that's what I'm going to do next. 24 divided by 3 is going to be 8. And I bring everything else down. Do I see any more multiplication or division? Nope. Do I see any addition or subtraction going from left to right? If I start from the left and move my way to the right, I see subtraction first. So I'm going to do the 8 minus 6 first. And 8 minus 6 is going to be 2. And I bring everything else down. 2 plus 2. And the last thing I'm going to do is that 2 plus 2, which is 4. So my answer is 4. Notice how I'm kind of color coding which operations I do first and in that order, just so that we're aware that those are the ones I'm working with. You can also highlight or circle the ones you're working with first, but remember, you make sure you bring everything else down. Okay. Our last example, 2 squared times 9 divided by 3. This again is a pretty nice one. Are there any parentheses? No. Are there any exponents? There is. We have 2 squared. Okay. We have the 2 squared here. Remember, 2 squared is the same as 2 times 2, and not the base times the exponent, but the base times the base. So the base happens to be 2. So 2 times 2 is going to be 4. So now we have 4 times 9 divided by 3. In this problem, do I see any more exponents? Nope. Do I see any multiplication or division going from left to right? If I start from the left, the first thing I see is multiplication, so I'm going to multiply 4 times 9, and that's going to get us 36. Bring down everything else. Do I see any more multiplication or division? Yes, I do. I see 36 divided by 3, and that's going to be 12, so your answer is 12. Hopefully this helps with a lot of the examples that you see, but make sure that you do everything in parentheses first. Make sure you bring stuff down. Always bring stuff down so you know what you're working with, and then your problem should look like an upside down triangle where you're getting smaller and smaller and smaller to your final answer. The last thing is that whenever you see parentheses or brackets, you always do the inside brackets first or the inside parentheses first and work your way out. Hopefully you won't see those, but if you do, just remember you do the inside and you work your way out. That covers everything. If you have any questions, feel free to ask your teacher. The last thing you're going to do is tape this or glue this into your notebook, preferably glue. So you're going to take glue and you're going to glue it to the back, okay? And you're going to tape it just like this, okay? So again, you're going to put glue and put glue here, glue it here. So it should look just like this. So in your notebook, you should just be able to open up, boom, order of operations. All right, guys, if you have any questions, ask your teacher. Have a great day.